network.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Hopefully, the people need to be here, would be here, and we're just going to have this conversation and go with it. While we're doing that, welcome, welcome. See, see what's and
Hello. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Sophia. How are you?
good to have you on. Good to have you on today, and we'll try to do this as as warm as needed as possible. Okay, so while we're waiting for a few people to get in here and all of that, I'd like to try with Otoye and Barbara. Barbara, right? So
Yes,
if you're 14 years old storms out of your room after you stay no sleep over, what's going to be your reaction? So
I'm going to be in the comments just in case my network is
yeah,
funny.
let me even see if I can put this in the comments. So I like to know your reaction if you have a 14 years old who's thumbs out. So let me just also put that in the comments so you could read or respond to it. If you have a 14 years old storm out of their room after you say no to a sleepover and they yell saying, "You don't trust me," what's your first reaction to that? You can type, you can unmute your mic and respond. What's your first reaction? Would you let them cool off? Would you laugh and walk away? Would you follow them to their room and demand respect? What's going to be your first reaction to that? So I'm asking again, if you're 14 years old, storm out of their room after you tell them no to a sleepover, what's going to be your reaction? It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Just what do you do? Demand the respect, stone them something, allow them to cool off, laugh. Don't worry, it came from our everyday real life scenario that we have to handle or address. You don't trust me. It comes out from you don't want them to sleep over because you don't trust what they would do at the sleepover. I'm waiting for your comments because this conversation is really connected to you. This is not a lecture. This is not a lecture. This is not some sermon. This is just talking. Okay, for those who are joining, I think let me just paste the question again. You can see it in the comment section and you can respond. You can meet your mic and actually respond. If you're 14 years old, storm out of their room after you say no to a sleepover, then they yell as they're storming out, saying, "You don't trust me." What's your first reaction to that? What's your first reaction? Ah, do we have more silent observer or we have people who are going to interact with today? Please, I like you to be a part of the session to interact. Please. What's your first reaction to that?
I don't have a 14-year-old yet.
Okay,
But
what's the
my first
imagination?
reaction, I'll be shocked because I'm like, my own is like that. Why? I want to know. I want us to have a conversation right away, Sha. Because I'm like, how did you arrive at, you don't trust me? I'm saying you shouldn't go because I'm looking out for you. Why do you think um why would you think it's a matter of me not trusting you? Maybe I'm thinking that like
Okay.
how I would be thinking of, because the reason I don't want you to go for a sleepover is so that you don't get exposed to any form of danger or trouble. So it's not necessarily about not trusting you, it's not trusting where you are going because I have no control over that place. So me, I want us to have it. The ideal thing for me would be let them cool up, but me, I want to talk about it there and then. I'm like, what do you mean? Why are you reacting this way? And yeah, but I'll be shocked, Sha. And I want us to talk about it straight up.
Okay. Well done. So Barbara, they can't even talk about it, right? Period. You do sleepover. Okay, no sleepover in your house. Okay, let's move. Let's move. We've gone 10 minutes into this already. So, let me know if you know what this means. Do you know the meaning of no cap? Does anybody know the meaning of no caps? Do you know what it means? When your kids say things like this, do you know what it means? Yes, no caps. It's a yes or a no, really. It's just straightforward. Do you know what it means? Do you know what I mean of it's giving? When they say it's given, it's given. Oh, Barbara, you do. Cool. Which one? Do you know the meaning for no carbs or you know the meaning for it's given? Okay. How about Raz? Anybody know the meaning of Raz? Raz. Raz. Well, if do you chat with your teens and or do you see them having a conversation that they just make it feel like this, or they just send you a score and say dead? You see a score. You saying things like that in your chat. In their chat, have you seen them send emojis like this? Okay, so these are some words in the Gen Z generation, and before you frown at them, I'm sure you had words that were also accustomed to your generation. There were words that you were saying in your generation, and just think for a moment. Think for a moment. Those things were not abnormal to you, were they? They were not abnormal to you. I bet they were not abnormal to you. So the meaning of no caps means when I say no caps, it means that they are not lying, they are being serious. Whatever information. So they say things like no caps. This thing as it went out and it happened, which means it's the truth, or let's be honest, or I'm not lying, or no caps, I'm being serious. The thing I said now, they say something and say, illustrate something and say, okay, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to be first in my exam. And they now say no caps. That's what they are telling you. I'm telling you, they're serious. They say it's giving, it's giving. What they're saying to you is that, it's giving off a certain vibe. Like, it's giving something. So this giving usually goes with their facial expression. The facial expression will tell you, is it giving off a good vibe? So you say it's giving motherless child vibe. Something they say something like that. It's giving beggar vibe. It's giving poverty vibe. Or it's giving rich kid vibe. So it means you are giving up a certain emotional energy or also when they give you the score sign in your chat, they're just saying that that thing is very funny, that they are like it's an expression of saying I'm dead. Ah, that was so funny. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. Raz actually means, charisma. This guy is just so Raz. You have this charisma and this charm. So these are little words in their world, and wanted to start with you to just, exposing your mind to what these words are, so that, you begin to see that you're probably you probably don't understand your things. You probably don't understand them the way you think you understand them. Because if you don't know their languages, then how do you know them? So before we dive in quicker, I just like you to share in the comment section, you know, one word, one word that you hope to gain from tonight. A word to describe what you're hoping to gain from this entire session tonight. One word that just describes something you are hoping to gain from the entire session tonight. You can just share that in the comment section. So, who am I? My name is Ini, and I'm really more into the entire relationship space and technology, but for the purpose of this discussion, I mean, I've been coaching things for a little over 6 to 7 years, directly 6 to 7 years. I run curriculum for teenagers, children generally, but teenagers also. We have to deal with kids every week on what's going on in their mind and their generation. And we begin to say that a lot of the things we consider to be basic information are not as out there as we hoped for them to be. Then this forum is just one of the ways to be able to do that. And of course, the adult toddler. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. So Belema, the floor is yours as we get into this definition. I will still hope that in the chat you could share one word from what you hope to get tonight.
Okay. I don't know if my network is allowing me to talk or if you can hear me.
Yes, you can.
Is it working?
Yes, it is.
Okay, because okay. My name is Belema Green. I am the adult toddler, as he said. I'm a teen coach. I'm in the teen therapy space. In fact, I am in the repair space, the identity space. I help people live their lives by design, run their organizations by design, run their families by design, which is why we're here tonight. But my sweet spot, everybody has a sweet spot. My sweet spot is teenagers. And I like that we remember that there is an age and it is the teen age, which is why we're doing this. So, yeah, that's me. And I hope we have a fantastic conversation. We'll be in the comments. I will be tell me if you can hear me because I don't know if I can hear me. All right, over to you.
Okay, so while we're discussing what this conversation to look like, we decided to go against having slides and teaching, because we're going to talk to you about how to connect with teenagers. So we decided to actually use the entire discussion to be how to connect with teenagers. So this is going to be an informal discussion between me and Belema on, we'll just have this talk on what happens in the teenagers and their mind. Belema, so you can leave your mic unmuted, and yes, we could see you and we could hear you on what this is, so that this is not one lecture. This is a proper conversation on how, things happen in the world of the teens as they have it. So I'll let Belema tell you a little bit more about what happens to the teenager when they turn between the age of 9 to 13. Something happens in their brain. They begin to find new emotions and expression. And I'll let Belema give you a little bit more insight about that.
you hear me?
Yes, we can.
And then I'm back in, right? Right. I think I'm frozen
Okay, so it's okay for you to
again.
turn off your video and let's use your audio.
Ah, Nigerian network.
Can you try speaking? We can't hear you anymore.
Ah, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
All right. So teenage brain, yes, that's what we're talking about now.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, great. So from 1 to 11, in different phases and stages, your teen brain and your child's brain is processing. For something amazing happens when they're 13. Their brain goes back to tabula rasa, which means it goes back to when 13, and it doesn't go back till they are 25 at all. And the part of the brain that starts to form first, unlike adults who are already fully formed, is the part of the brain that has adventure. It's the part of the brain that takes risk. It is not the rational part at all. So when your teenager goes, I don't know, it's not because they want to be rude. The truth is, they really did not know. Their brain was giving them information at the time that, this thing is okay to jump off a roof naked and fall down on Jaga Jaga stone. It made perfect sense to them at the time. So as adults, we're supposed to be the rational part of a teenager's brain. We're supposed to bring reason, we're supposed to bring guidance, which is what the rational part of their brain does. But from 13 to 25, expect a lot of thrill-seeking, adventure, and risk-taking behavior. Okay, yeah, that's it.
Okay, so why this is the first thing that is important is that a lot of the times as a parent or when you're trying to counsel or engage with teenagers, you begin to feel like don't they know that this thing they are doing is wrong? The answer is they really don't know. They really don't know. They
They
are
really don't. They
they are
really don't.
trying to figure it out also. They are trying to get a grip of what life is, what their identity is, because what has just happened is just before this age. Yeah, for some kids, it happened a little bit earlier. But just before this age, they thought they understood themselves. They thought they knew who they were. They were so firm that they wanted to become a doctor. It was so clear for them that they wanted to become a lawyer. Like they were telling you things like, I want to fly here. You had so many informations that before that age, it felt like they were crystal clear about life and where they were going to. Then suddenly they hit this age, or sometimes it can be 12, sometimes it can be 11, and this chemical hormones kicking, which is part of their natural development. Then they are beginning to feel unsure about everything. They are falling in love every other week. They don't know why that's happening to them. They're having emotions being expressed in ways that they're also wondering that how can I even control my emotions? Why is this going haywire like this? Okay, how come I suddenly don't like this kind of cartoons anymore? Why do I like this kind of movies suddenly? That's part of their brain. It's needed for them to form and come into fullness of their identity. So where do you come in? You come in with the sense that you have to be aware that things have changed in the mind and in the process of your child, and you need to be able to communicate to them differently. you have to also make that switch. That switch will not come naturally to you as a parent or as a guardian. It would, because you're already fully formed and you're already relating to them a certain way. Girls start having periods, boys who have been having wet dreams once in a while and now having it a little bit more often, depending on what they are exposed to do. And you are here and you need to be able to communicate to them. How are you going to communicate to them? With empathy. With empathy. Knowing that,
Yeah, Bini, I don't know if you can hear me.
yes,
There's
please go
something
ahead.
that you said. It's important that you retrain yourself during this age range. Like and he said, this is not going to come naturally to you. You're not just going to switch and like, oh, we're in the teenage age now, so we're not going to retrain ourselves. No, that's not going to happen. So you're going to have a serious conversation first with yourself because you must connect at this phase. It's imperative because we're talking about maybe just periods and wet dreams. Some teenagers transition with anger, rudeness, anxiety, and frustration. Not because they want to, but because you wake up in the morning and suddenly you have a whole flood of hormones that you don't know about, you don't understand. And most importantly and unfortunately, you can't talk to your parents about. How do you tell your parents in the morning that you woke up feeling horny this morning? You don't even have the language for it. So you're frustrated, you're rude, you're feeling anyhow. And then when you're acting the way you're acting, you're hearing things alternatively like, don't you know you're supposed to be a big girl? Don't you know you're supposed to be a big boy? Or don't you know you're supposed to be taking care of the family, or you're too young for this? And as parents, we give conflicting conversations in that phase, and that's not going to work. So I thought I needed to put that in.
Yeah, thank you. So this is important because what empathy does for you is it allows you slow down enough to listen to them. It allows you slow down enough. You see that expectation that you are having, that oh, getting into senior secondary school, they will soon get into the university based on all how well you've trained them coming up. So it means now that they should handle more responsibility, they should just know that this is not okay. They should just understand their boundaries. You need to help them find it now. So once you miss empathy, you're going to miss the connection. Because what you do, like what Belema just said, a lot of parents would do is, don't you know you're not supposed to do that? Or like with the sleepover, don't you know that we don't sleep over in this house? Like they know, but the chemical in their brain is saying, why can't I sleep over? And the reaction that they are expecting is a conversation that guides them back to the truth, not an instruction that tells them as a stamp what to do. So in that season, if you are all about instruction, so a few people would say, become your child's friend. No, 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 no. You are supposed to become their parents that can relate to them properly. You can't be, you're not your child's friend. There's a place for friendly engagements. You are the middle ground. You're able to connect with you, but you are still the parent. It's just that now you cannot tell the child, sit down there. Oh, you can, really. You can say, sit down there. But you're going to be losing your child to that harsh voice and instruction. Now you want to have the time to say, there's a reason why you need to sit down. And we don't sit down like this here. Think about that thing you want to do now and how is it going to impact one, two, three, four times. And let me say, this is the time where empathy also comes with a little bit of trust. You would allow them make decisions, and the decisions sometimes will be wrong. And you need to allow them make the wrong decisions while you are there guiding them. I know you are very afraid. It's not the hallmark of good parenting is not that your child never made a wrong choice while they're with you. It's really that they are always able to find their way back and bounce back from what is wrong. Again, with your guidance, you can't let them go haywire. So you can't say, for instance, since you want to sleep over and you know that that place they are going to sleep over has danger, then you allow them. That's not what we're saying. We're saying you want to be able to guide them carefully and help them begin to see the danger of such sleepovers so that they can come to the point of making a decision by themselves that this is not good for me. Because when they're able to do that at that age with your guidance and empathy, they usually don't change their mind. They usually don't change their mind. That becomes so a lot of the things you've taught them before their teenage years, when they get to their teenage years, they start to question it. And if you take the defensive posture of, I've been teaching you for 11, 12 years now, you should be, which is the first mistake a lot of parents make. You should be knowing what to do now, and they stop coaching and helping the child, then they lose the connectivity. Everything you taught them as the law of first mention still applies in their teenage years. However, you need to reinforce it now again. So the teaching doesn't stop now. The mode of teaching will need to change. The guiding doesn't stop now. The mode you are going to guide them will need to change. And you will need to retool and retrain your mind on how you are going to approach them. Another thing you might need to remember is that you are, at the end of the day, a steward for your child, not their owner. You might have, let me just say that again. You would have to remember that God has called you to become a steward. You are not their owner. They really, really, really answer to God. They really, really report to something higher than you. But your job is to steward them right. And that would mean that being able to present them with all the possible information and allowing them pick.
Okay, so before you go further, there was an interesting thought today while I was preparing for this webinar. And again, I want to just say thank you for everyone who showed up for it, because taking time out of your schedule is a thing. And with the network challenges in Nigeria, for those who are not in Nigeria, you don't know what you are missing. Network challenges everywhere. But the thought that occurred to me today was most of the time, as parents, guardians over the children that we have been given to steward, we don't act as leaders, we act as autocrats. And there's a difference. A leader is a person who influences people to carry out a particular purpose. If I'm going to borrow from Howard Hendricks, and parenting is leadership in the pure sense of the word. When you are able to talk with your teen on that level, the conversation changes. Leadership is not control, it's more connection, guidance, and a nurturing towards a particular thing. It's influential. So as a parent, if your only way to train your teenager is through instructions, commands, and shouting, you might need to check what kind of leader that you are, because chances are you are modeling something for that teen that would not go away, but will come back to bite you back. So you also have to know that you are a leader, and it's influence. It's not the loudest voice in the room. It's not thunder that grows rain and that grows flower. It's not thunder. You can shout all you want. You can give commands. You can, be forceful about certain things. But would that actually make your teenager learn what they're supposed to learn? So as a parent, it's important to understand the concept of leadership and stewardship, because honestly, your child is not an investment plan for you. It's not. It's not. And sometimes you hold them so tightly that you end up losing them, because they want to breathe, they want to express. But it's also another part where, if you are not a healed parent, if you are not healed from your own parenting, you will damage your children. Yeah.
Okay, so you would realize that what happens for a lot of parents is they always want to lead with logic, again, because you think the child is old enough to understand logic. But the way to actually connect to them, to get them to logic, is to connect with their feelings first. Because at this point, their feelings is so high that is almost always overriding logic. And when you come with the logical, approach first, they tune off. You want to get them to the logical points, but however, you want to connect to them with their feelings first. So a child comes and say, they won't even say, but hopefully you are open to your child enough to realize that your child is 14 or 16 and they're in love with somebody, or they claim to be in love with somebody. Your logical approach is to get them to a point where they realize that they are too young to fall in love. They can't host love. They can't nurture such intimate relationship at this point, and they need to grow a little bit older to get there. Yes, that's what you want to connect them to. However, you want to start with the emotional part first as to what is this person bringing to the table? What need are you looking for? Are you looking for acceptance? Are you seeking for someone to just be exclusively yours? Which is something a lot of
Yeah,
people
but
looking
it's
for.
belonging.
Just want somebody that is like their person. They feel like the love in their house is shared. Daddy has mommy, mommy have daddy, or they had so many children. They just want their own exclusive person now. That's what they are feeling. It's not like, it's not like they don't have sex or anything like that. You just want to know that this one, out of all the whole world, they've chosen me. And
This
now,
person gets me. This person
exactly,
gets me.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's now, the onus will now be on you to now say that feeling is valid. But what they are looking to get from that feeling and where they are looking to get it from is not valid. So it is now your job to understand that feeling and find a way to provide it for them. Let them feel. Once they are able to start feeling, so what do you do, daddy? Or what do you do, mommy? Text them every morning. I see you. I love you. You are my sunshine. Let's go out. What do you want to say? It's a feeling they want to have of being exclusive. So the only place the world has presented to them with media, books, and movies and their friend is that you can only get this feeling from outside. So it pushes them towards this place of maybe even movies, or maybe even, drugs, or, just maybe an extreme of, okay, I have teenagers who their extreme is just reading. So it's not really always such negative, it's just wrong extremes. There is so much because it look like, see this book one. Nobody go take it from my hand. Me and book were one. Book is my own. And some parents don't even see that this is a damaging habit because for them, they want them to carry first in school. So you help provide that emotional balance. Once you are providing that, you will now naturally be able to lead them to the logical conclusion that they don't need a boyfriend or a girlfriend or something exclusive within this age range. But if you go with the approach of saying that's not good for you, you stand the risk of losing them to that information. Of course, the next thing they most likely would do is hide it from you. I have teenagers, so usually if it's a female, usually Belema, I don't want to do teenagers exclusively. Anyways, Belema does that, so I just refer them to that. But we're at the beginning of the healing stage of a teenager who is kissing a lot. This person, and you've done so. Some parents have done so great a job with nurturing that these kids, know some things are really, really bad. They know some things are really, really bad. So if they even kiss, for instance, they're like, I've destroyed my life. But they can't even tell their parents. So they're telling you that what happened, I kissed the boy in the hallway, and I'm always kissing this boy. I don't want to kiss the boy anymore. And you are giving the whole why are you kissing? You are helping them find love. Naturally, because if they are males, I would handle them. Female will say, okay, you have to talk to Belema a little bit more to help you. But you have to also talk to their parents, and they will go, my mother cannot know about this. My mother cannot know about this. Why? Because it's difficult for you to even look at them without judging them. And to be honest, it's not easy. So the next thing is that after you connect to them emotionally, it's very important that you listen without rushing to fix them. It's very important that you see that we listen, we don't judge. It's very important that you listen and not judge. It's
You
very
are
important.
responsible for your face
It's
as
very
a
important.
parent.
It's very
It
important.
is too important because they are in their feelings all the time and they take their emotional cues from your expression. So the main and parents have a thing. It's a learned reaction, right? Your child walks into the room, your teenager walks into the room, and they know that the first when they look at you, the look on your face is you're trying to assess, are they okay? Are they properly dressed? Are they perfectly turned out? You are doing it from a place of I don't want this child to either be disgraced or somebody should talk to them rudely about the way they are turned out. What they see is criticism. And once they take that as feedback, remember, the rational part of their brain is not working at all. It's forming. Once they see that, it sends a feedback to their brain that this place is not safe. I can't show who I am here. Meanwhile, you're just going, this dress is short, oh, let them not go and gossip about her somewhere, or something of that nature. Or why is he looking unkempt, or something like that? Why did he comb his hair? They have to read on your face. When was the last time your child walked into a room and you looked at your child with, God, yeah, this is the best thing that has ever happened to me? And they read that emotion of validation, of joy and appreciation. It brings them closer. Remember, the way to their rational part is through their feelings, and one of the things is your face. You can't do that. You can't be showing everything on your face, and it's hard because some of our faces to give subtitle. It's very hard, but you have to school your face. You have to listen, not judge. And he said something very important. Don't rush to fix anything. They did not send you. You don't even have the relationship for some of us where they trust you enough with fixing it. You have to earn it. It has to be earned. All right.
So it's also very important that for you to help them, you see that maturity you want them to have. It's also very important that you don't fix, but you guide them to fix it themselves. Your approach to it is you show them the solution and help them get to the solution. You don't bring the solution to them. It helps them begin to build self-confidence, trust in their sense of judgment, and see that you are a more reliable person to be able to connect to. And I'm going to be honest, yeah. If you're going to connect with your teens, and this is like something new to you, or just things generally, you want to fix your heart because you might hear things that might break your heart. You want to prepare your mind that whatever this person says to me, whatever they do, whatever they share with me, wherever they must have gone, my heart would love them wholeheartedly. It won't affect my face because you don't want to suddenly see a child who you see so innocent, you see the way they are behaving, and the next thing they tell you that I've had sex like 4 times, I've done abortion, and suddenly the way you are looking at them changes. You don't want to be that kind of guardian or parents. You don't want to be that. You want to be because they're going to test you with this little information. They're going to test your reaction. And the moment your first reaction is that of, the wall has gone up. The wall has gone up. You have to be able to train yourself ahead of time to say, I forgive this child in advance. There's nothing this child that will do to me that would, yeah, you might go and, cry to God, help your heart bleed in the room and all of that. But whilst you are building this connection, you want to be able to keep a facial and heart posture that says, whatever you're sharing is fine. What is it? What do you think is the deep thing that you have done that I cannot take? And they keep giving you little dose by little dose. Then you keep taking it. Then you'll be able to get them to that place of correction. You also have to be able to show curiosity about their world. When I was asking about the things they say, they can't be saying ras, they can't be saying pure, they can't be saying that's on period. And yes, even if I don't like the way they keep their hand when they say that's on period, even if I don't like it, But you have to understand the language. Even if I don't use it, but I know what they are talking about. I'm able to say, oh, yeah, yeah. I'm not saying, what is that some period? Don't say that here. Stay where. Say, I'm serious. You're not doing or saying all that. You are able to get to connect to them. You have to be aware of their kind of music. You have to be aware of their digital spaces. When you see them post something, don't call them and say, you know the child of whom you belong to. That post right now, you have to bring it down. That's if this is even being a little bit calm. You can just say, who's that? What did you post? You want to discuss our family? La, la, la. See. Some of your kids have digital footprints and pages that you don't know about. They have a page that their name is whatever you give to them. Then they have another page that whatever identity they feel they want to express on the inside that they don't need you to know about, they put that up there. In fact, there's something that happens in the teenagers' world. They call it streaks. Streaks is something on Snapchat, you know. Do you know what streaks does? It means that every single day you log in on Snapchat and say hello to your friends. Every single day. So I have teenagers who they're not reading the Bible this committedly, but you cannot get them to read the Bible by not using strips to invite them. Who, if their phone spoil, for instance, today, because they don't want to lose their strips, they'll go and take their parents' phone, log in their Snapchat quickly, say hi to the friends, and log out back. They're that committed to the strips. You need to be aware of all these things so you are able to be there as guide. Because over situations, I mean, a lot of parents don't allow their kids to use devices. Some of friends I know, then they get into university. Then you need them to use a device. Now that they are going to leave the house and get into the university, you want to give them phone. You will now bring the phone by yourself and give to them. And the moment they see that device, because you didn't guide them and teach them how to use the digital space, they've just been restricted, no guidance. The moment that restriction is lifted, they're in school. What they used to do with internet, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. Because it's like you kept a lot of air in a bubble and suddenly you open it will just do. So you want to be able to guide. They are living in a digital world. I'm not saying buy them phones, but help them know how to use the internet. Help them know how to show their image and identity. Help them know how to position, not police. Guide them to position them. Why? Like Belema said, your daughter comes out with a mini skirt. Why are you going? Who could have said that one? Come on, go. Why are you not going? Oh, see pretty legs. What a damn sell you are, my baby. Oh yeah, now. Afa, cover it now. I don't want everybody to see this leg. This leg belongs to only us in the house and your husband. Most likely, they'll begin to consider changing it. If you tell them to go and move that dress and change it, they will. They will. But they'll wear it in school. They won't wear it in the house, but they'll wear it in school. So you want to connect with them like that. You want to connect with them like that. You also, Belema also mentioned it. See, whatever way you were raised already as an adult now, you need some form of emotional healing. So you want to take it seriously. You want to, see a counselor. Belema has therapy session. She's a licensed therapist. You want to find a way to heal. If not, you replicate your trauma in the life of your children. You want to. Some form of dysfunction is just somewhere that you want to correct. So you want to find a way to heal. I'll let Belema share more on that.
Okay, so when you're not healed, you raise guarded children. And by guarded, I mean they can express to you. We're taking the extremes now of children that are expressive, where you're going to see certain character traits or anything. But most of the time, we neglect the child who is the good one. And because this child doesn't give you trouble, they pass their exams. And he mentioned it in passing, but it's something that I would like to touch on because most of the time we focus so much on the teenager that is more expressive, gives more wahala in quotes than the good child. A guarded good child will display character traits once they are not within that space. It's almost like they're a ticking time bomb. And you have to understand that the pressure that you are putting on that child is going to show up in ways that you never realized. You have to talk through your fears and be vulnerable. Now, vulnerability does not mean oversharing. You are not bearing your entire heart. When I was 16, I slept with this man. We're not saying say that. There's a way to pass across the conversation and the information. The reason that I tell you to do this is because it's a conversation. And if you cannot have that conversation with yourself first, because you have to figure out why you are triggered. Why are you triggered? Why does your child's mini skirt make you erupt in that manner? The mirror faces back at you. Why are you triggered? Why did the way they answer you, why did it upset you to that degree? Because you are the adult. Why is a child triggering you in that measure? You have to start asking the why questions. What does this remind me of? Why do I feel disrespected? Why do I feel like they don't regard me? Why do I feel like they take me for granted? You have to now check it and trace it. And it's most likely from something unhealed in your parenting or in your formative years. And you have to correct that because you're going to pass it on. And anything you pass on, it multiplies. So really, you're the answer to your child's problem, and you are also the problem in some regard. Yes.
So, which is so important to know. As part of your healing process, like Belema said, why are you triggered the way you are triggered? When the child slammed the door, why is that impaining you the way it's paining you? Why? Is it making you feel like you are less of the authority figure? Is it making you feel like you are not the parent? Why? What's triggering you? What do you need to heal from? How is this happening in your brain? You can't also relive your life through your teenagers. You are done. Your life, God has healed you.
You need to say that thing again. You need to
You're
say
an
it.
adult. You can't relive your
You can't
teenagers with them.
stop it.
Forget about
Don't do that.
forget
Don't.
about it. You are going to confuse them. All this, I wish when I was your age I did this. I wish when I was your age I did that. I wish when I was your age I did. See, don't worry. God is a God that redeems time. Use this your age now to do what you need to do for your own life. Guide them. Provide the instruction they need. You know, when you feel disrespected, what wound is it touching? Are you remembering how your mother used to slap you when you do something like that? Is that why you want to slap them the same way? And many times the thing about emotional healing is that you might even go to therapy and prepare your heart, which is great, which you need to do as a first step. But you might not even know to the depth that this thing has eaten you up until practical scenarios play out. You see practical scenarios. You see a small child just say, leave me. And next thing you want to fling them slap. You will not even know that those things are there. Now, because we have said heal, it doesn't now also mean that the teenagers don't need boundaries. They really do need boundaries. But you have to be able to set boundaries as bridges, not barriers. The boundaries you are setting for them has to be able to connect with them like a bridge, not a barrier that throws them away. It's very important that when you say you do something for teenagers, you follow through. So before you open your mouth and say, if you do this, I will do this, or if this happened, I will react like this, or this is the consequences of this action. Please consider what you are about to say. Because many times what happens is that you say that thing out of your, emotions. You didn't mean to say that, or you are not willing to follow through with that thing. Then they do something and then you don't follow through. What you are showing them is that you are not reliable. What you are showing is them that you are not consistent. So you want to be able to follow through. So you too, before you say, I will disown you, think about what you want to say very well. Knowing that it's not normal for you to be disowning them. So don't use threats as a way of getting them to stay within the borders you want them to stay. It's going to affect your connection and how you can relate with them. If they are going to always sleep by 9 and you want them to stay away from their phones by 9, you too carry your phone, put on the general table with everybody and say, in our family, 9 o'clock, nobody uses phone anymore. If you need to work, call them and say, see, I work with my phone around this time of the day, and this is what brings us money for us to be able to pay certain bills. So I will do this, but every other person keeps their phone there. Then they actually see you working, not watching movies. They actually see you working, not sleeping on the table. Because this one that you want to let them obey you and you are not under authority, they would not follow you. They might follow you like Nigerian parents, or what we do now. They don't want to chase someone, but they don't trust you enough to be willing to connect with you because you're not willing to also subject yourself under authority. You are not. You want them to pray in the morning. You don't pray in the morning. You don't show them. Then some of you actually do morning devotions in the morning, but they see you with them say, Jesus, I love you, and you roll on the floor. Then few minutes later, they see you saying you dey mad, or they see you lying on the phone. They are not going to follow you. You are not somebody they can trust. So it's all telling them that, nah, this one cannot keep my secret. Or one of your ways you don't keep boundaries is that something they say to you, you bring it up 1 year later and say that's how you did last time, you fail. Now you're doing it again, you fail again. This is how you be feeling. Can't you see your future? See, all those things, they are building barriers with your kids. That's not the way God talks to you, is it? That's not so you're not even modeling what your Heavenly Father models. Because the moment you are able to model your relationship with your things like God has a relationship with you, they are always going to be close to you. They're always going to be close to you. They're always going to be close to you. So you want to learn to live with them and not through them, like we've said before. You want to learn to say what's happening in your world. Why do you like, and I don't know if we had so many people on the call, but does your kids like anime? Have you wondered why do they like anime? What about anime that they are so fascinated about? Why are they stuck with um games? What's about COD? Why do they want to play COD? You do you even know what COD is about? How can you now help them come out from there and get into the place where you can now get them to learn about finances, responsibility? Why are you not building structures and systems to teach them about money, consequences of not saving or investing? Because at the end of the day, they won't do well. They want to do well. Do you understand that the concept of work is changing? Yes, they still need to be lawyers. Yes, they still need to be doctors. Yes, they still need to be people who are vast with the academical world. But they are see 14 years old who are raking in millions every day. They are seeing it. They are seeing 14 years old carry up phones and say a day in the life of a blah 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 blah, blah person. They are seeing a 19 years old boy who is holding a girl and flying around the world and getting endorsement deal. And you are still telling them that the only way The only way is that they have to get first class or second class upper. It's not adding up to the world that they are living in. So you want to be able to articulate and address all these things. I'm going to pause here and let Belema share some more things, and we'll take questions. We don't want this to be too long.
So I think practically you've taught basically some things that I have been saying. You're going to have to model the character that you want to see in your team. You're going to have to do that. You're going to have to earn and build their trust and build patterns. It has to be repetitive and consistent. Again, I have to go back to their brains. You have to understand the way their brains are wired. You also have to understand the age in which they are living in. It's communal, right? It's seeing somebody do something that they get to replicate. And if they don't see the same thing at home, where it's a one-off, you don't expect them to trust you. So if their friends are consistent in doing a particular thing, their brains just interpret it that this is normal and this is what we're supposed to be doing. And so they just, even if you have shouted in like the law of first mention, you have said that this thing is wrong. They know, but they have seen it consistently over time, replayed over and over again. Somewhere their brain goes, if this thing is happening repetitively, it must be okay to do. And then they need you to be this stabilizing, rational voice in their head. It cannot be a voice of fear or a voice saying, don't do this. Because again, minus the fact that they're expressing and they're building and they're molding, you have to realize that this is also the age of curiosity. So you have to lead with the curiosity. They're innovating, they're changing, they're experiencing different phases of themselves. They're getting to know things that they like. And if your voice is the voice that is constantly going, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, you should not do that, this, they're going to reduce the volume of your voice in their head and amplify something that works with them. So you will now have them saying things like, and honestly, you don't even understand what they're saying. My house is very toxic. Which one is your house is very toxic? Your house is not toxic. And they don't know what they're saying in the depth of what they're saying. But what they're trying to pass on is they're not free to express, they're not free to bring up maybe like a suggestion without it being shut down or without it even being sarcastically thrown away. Put the boundaries in place, but allow for curiosity and lead with curiosity. At this stage, you're parenting with curiosity. Oh, why? Oh, what happened? You have to be a storyteller. You have to be able to share your life with them, like literally. Oh, I have gone through this in my time. What's happening in your time now? I remember in it that we said I put something up on our teenagers group, and I just asked a random question. What's it like being a teenager today? It was a generic question. And you have to be able to use generic questions because they're still at the phase where they're trying to see, can we trust you with this or should we not? So make it a general question as gist. And I had teenagers coming back and to tell me about the stuff that was going on in their life. Being a teenager is not easy. Oh, this was happening. Can you imagine I did something like that? Your teenagers talk. They just need the right space. And most of the time, we don't allow for the right space because it's either a yes or no answer or it's something invasive. Why did you do this? Address the issue, not the child. The issue. What happened in this area? And don't expect them to have an answer for you that is coherent or will make sense. So you have to give language to the emotions because again, it's a lot of feelings. So were you frustrated? Were you feeling? So even you as a parent has to be emotionally intelligent to know the emotions that are there. But let me stop here.
So one of the things I really like to do is while we share give pointers. I always like to live with practical ways to get things done. So I'm going to ask you, try this from now till December. If you can make it every day, it will be amazing. But even if maybe you should start with 3 times a week. Try spending 30 minutes with your teenager alone. Don't go and ask questions. Just in your day schedule, carve out 30 minutes at least 3 times a week just for this child. Then when you get there, see what they're watching. Watch with them. No G's, just be watching. Who is this person? Tell me more. Be actually interested. Go on another day, talk to them about school. Go on another day, share about yourself when you were a teenager. Like Belema said, you don't need to know about all the bad thing you did. Just how life was, what the things you were imagining. Do that 3 times a week. You see that the more you are able to just be present with them, they will start trusting to open up. But when they start opening up, please work on your face and work on your heart. Work on the curiosity to ask questions, then lean on the wisdom of God to find solution. Second practical tip, if you're in a place where you are not even talking with your teen, like you're not even getting a lot of information right now, try this. Depends on the child. If the child likes to do voice notes, if the child likes to write, I'm kind of old school like this. I like to use a notepad, but you can also use a digital device. Create a space for only you and your child to have a conversation. So today, go and put all your thoughts there about the child. Please don't start with your complaint first. Just start with oh, this was what I was thinking. I didn't know why you did this. I'm not very sure what's going on with you. Would you just mind to share me if 1 or 2 things? Please, at the beginning, you might get nothing is wrong. Everything's okay. Stuff like that. But leave that space where they can now start responding to you slowly. They might not respond to you at the pace you want, but slowly, once they know that this person is present to actually listen and follow, they will start responding. And as they are responding, you get into their world and now build that relationship to the place where, like Belema said, your child is listening to someone. This one, I guarantee you, there's a voice that they are listening to as we speak. But you want to get to the place where that voice is yours. And you have to build yourself to be able to earn that influence. You won't have that influence because you give birth to them. You have to earn the influence in their life by growing your influence over them and how you reach out to them. So I'd like to pause here for today and ask if there are any questions we can take before we wrap up today's session. Any question? Okay. Nobody has any question, so we can Chinwe, Deborah, Harmony, Mr. IB, good to see you, Otonye. Matter if that's
Please, I have a question.
please go ahead.
So I know you talked about parents who don't give their children devices, and then they send them off to school where they need to actually have a device, and the child then goes wild. So I've seen a couple of clips where you see celebrities, you see tech founders say that they don't give their children phones because they know the danger of it. So how do we teach our children to function in a digital space and protect them? What age would you say, if you could recommend, what age is best to let children have phones or some access to the digital space? and then you guide them gradually and then they get exposed gradually, what would you say is the strategic thing to do? Because um, it's not wise to just give them devices. It's also not wise to bar them from devices completely. So what's the strategic thing to do?
So I think the age everybody should give their child should be, it should stem out of their family value. I don't think there's a one size fit all for when the child should own a device. I think you should stem out of their family value. For instance, now, if you are even in this digital world, if your child is in primary school, maybe not primary school, but if your child is even in JSS1, primary school, yes, primary school, they are going to own a laptop because they need it for schoolwork. So they having a device and they learning to use it are two different things. So they can own the device, but there are things you can install on the device, security measures that measures have what they watch, what they see. It tells you what they are logging into, what app they are downloading. So for a mobile phone, for instance, yes, for my own home now, it probably will be happening around 14, 15 for my own home now. But we should be able to use my device to log into the internet. Absolutely, yes. If we need her to have a digital footprint, we should be able to use my device to, surf the net, get a maybe social media presence if that's what she's trying to gun for. Absolutely, yes. Then if that is handled with proper care and she can earn more access, she can get her own. There'll be times where she switch it off. I can see whatever she's watching. All these apps are applicable. So for the tech people who say they're not giving their child a phone, what they are saying is they're not letting the child own a phone. So maybe they are 14, 15. So they don't want the child to own it exclusively. But the child has access to technology. Those tech giants, the entire house is technologically inclined. TV, everything is automated with technology. But they don't want the child to have exclusivity to a device that is just their own, that the child is now carrying everywhere. So, because of all the things it does to the brain and all of that. So, yes, for me, no direct phone. But I really think the age a child should have the phone for to be exclusive should be determined by what the values of the family is. However, the child should be exposed to technology. You should show them what technology is like. They should see what they can do with technology. They should use it maybe for an hour a day, depending on the age as they are growing, and they know how to navigate those spaces. They should see, okay, what's happening with friends. If it really need to be friends, they should be able to have friends. I mean, is your mobile phone, you can open another account for them if they need to be on social media or something. And they log in with your phone and they do their app and they log out and all of that, then you are able to get into the app space yourself, depending on their age and depending on what your family value is. So, like you rightly said, this is not wise to just give them the phone. It's also not wise to just pull it out from them completely. So you have to be able to play that middle ground. But when they will own it exclusively, like I'm saying for my home now, as at today that I'm speaking, she would not need to have a device for herself, a digital device for herself. There's going to be landline, can call the landline, she will pick if she's at home and all of that. And there will be a phone for touchlight phone that will pick call. But digital access will be guided so when they are teenager, depending on how well you are able to prove that. I mean, I'm canceling one of it's one thing now. She's going to turn 21 and she's been watching porn since she was 13, and it just happened with digital media. She didn't know how to control pop-ups. She didn't know how to work on sites. And to be honest, you are still going to have to deal with porn even at 20 something. So somebody has to teach you how to deal with it from the teenage years. So you prepare your child's mind that this is what porn is. This is how things that happen online. This is how you protect yourself. This is how to use the media. So it means that you also have to learn this yourself, so you'll be able to teach them and protect them. But would they own the device exclusively? I don't see a reason why a child needs to own the device exclusively till they're maybe 14, 15. Own it exclusively till maybe they're 14, 15. I don't see a reason why. But giving them access to technology to the degree that they don't feel like they are missing out on something, yes, you should introduce that little by little. But owning, I will leave it to every family should have a family value that allows them to determine when and what they will use what. I'm in the AI space, and my child's picture is not online. There's a reason for that. So that's because of my own family value. But we should now know about AI and technology. Absolutely, yes. She will do that. But when everybody see her posting her picture on private jets, no, 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 no. We will teach her to do it by herself. I don't know if that answers it for you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Okay. Belema, final words. There are no more questions.
Okay, awesome. I apologize. Network is networking. Final words. The teenage, in fact, parenting is a continuous, lifelong conversation. Family planning doesn't just stop at how many children that you're going to have. Family planning is a lot more elaborate than that. It's planning the kind of kids you want to groom and grow. It's planning the kind of person you want to be as either the head of the family or the person who is in charge of the kids. It's beyond that. Planning is understanding that there is a target, the teenage, which is our focus for tonight. There is a target. When they get to teens, what kind of children, what kind of relationship. This is what family planning is. I don't know why that is the word in my head, but this is what family planning is in the sense of the word. And you need to be able to sit. What are the values that you want to pass on to the kids? Knowing that these are the values you're going to replicate in the world. What kind of teenager do you want to raise? Is it I fluctuate a lot of raising, but what kind of teen do you want to showcase to the world? What is the teenager you have been blessed with? Have you discovered who they are? And this goes for whether it's a teen or a child. You have to learn the bent of your child. Your child came with pre-wired gifts, abilities, skills, and you have to be able to see your child the way God has given that child to you to steward and unwrap them piece by piece. And some pieces will shock you, but it is a lifelong journey. Well done. And I hope you reach out to us if you have any questions or any contrary views. We welcome all. We do. We really do.
So as we're wrapping up, I don't know, I got a word for somebody. And maybe the person is not even on this call. But don't give up on your teenager. They need you. I know you probably you're at the point where you feel like this one, there's no coming back. But this is directly to you. Don't give up on your teenager. Whatever you instilled in them from childhood to now didn't just evaporate. You just need to help them connect the dots back. It didn't evaporate. You are not a bad parent. You are not also a failed parent because of the way your teenager is presently acting. But don't give up on that child. Don't give up on that child. Thank you very much. We would see what to do with this material in a few hours or in the coming days. But thank you for sharing this 1 hour, 15 minutes with us. We really appreciate your time and honor your presence. Of course, if you need help with this, meet Belema. She's directly involved with the teenager and she'll be able to help you navigate better. All right. Bye-bye, everyone. Good night.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much, Otoye. Thank you so much, Barbara. Thank you, Chinwe. Thank you.